Senator Jim DeMint back with us. Senator, thanks for the time. How you doing?
Spent $48 last night at the county fair.
Senator, are you there? All right, let's see now if we can connect. Senator Jim DeMint with us on the Common Sense Club and the Scott Hennen Show. Hi, Senator.
Hey, hi.
Good to catch up with you again. How you been?
I've been great, thanks.
Fantastic. Well, a couple of stories we want to ask you about. One is we have some reporting going on here by the Say Anything blog and a few other places that you are interested in seeing a competitive effort for the Republican nomination for the Senate out here. Rick Berg, who's the House member, has indicated he'll be running for the Senate seat, and at least one elected Republican out here is saying that there is he and others are being encouraged to run. Are you looking to see if we can't drum up a primary battle for the North Dakota Republican nomination for Senate?
Yes, we are. We're certainly looking at it, and we kind of follow what the grassroots is doing in different states, and so we're interviewing candidates from everywhere, trying to find out which ones are not only have the right principles but have the courage to do what needs to be done in the Senate. And so, yeah, we're definitely going to be looking at North Dakota as well as 23 other states where Democrats are up next time.
Is it fair to say you're encouraging other candidates to get in that race?
Well, I think I'm going to let that happen by itself, but certainly we're looking for some good common sense conservatives that understand American exceptionalism and what we have to do to restore it and are willing to stand up even against our own party when we need to, but we need principled people with real courage, and they're in short supply.
Have you interviewed Rick Berg or had a conversation with him?
Not at this point, but I think a lot of us, again, are looking at I've got some staff that are talking to people all over the country, so I don't want to get into too much of who we've talked to and who we haven't, but we've talked to dozens and dozens from around the country. And the good news is we've got great conservative candidates in almost every state. We're still doing a little bit of, trying to flesh out some good candidates, but so I don't want to get too specific at this point, but we mostly will wait for signals from grassroots Americans to see who they're getting behind, and if they're supporting an underdog, we'll try to help them.
But should we glean out of this that there's a great deal of respect out for you and what you've done and others as well, in making sure that solid conservatives are ultimately candidates for these positions. And I guess the mere fact that you're interviewing candidates, encouraging others to run, suggests maybe that you're concerned about Rick Berg making the jump now from the House race. After defeating Earl Pomeroy, going up for the Senate race, that he might not have as much conservative credibility as we'd like. I mean, is that fair to say that if you're talking?
No, it's not, because we have not really gone through the vetting process with any candidate, and so I don't want to make a statement one way or another. But we're glad to see some candidates looking at it and jumping in, and so we look forward to again following the lead of the people in North Dakota as well as other states and helping those that have those qualifications that I think the people want. So this is really not so much about what I want, but I think about what Americans are crying out for right now, which is leadership and courage. And
so would you go through the process with in this case it's not an incumbent, it's an incumbent in the House race, but somebody that obviously would be if you look at the tea leaves, going to be a solid, opponent for that particular race, having just won the House race and now throwing his hat in the ring because of the vacancy and the retirement of Senator Ken Conrad. That he doesn't get any preferential treatment. He gets put through the process with the grassroots folks here in your organization, just like anybody else would.
Oh yeah, I look forward to it. But we're doing that in other states as well. If they're House members. And we know a little bit about them. Obviously, having some kind of voting record is one indicator, and a number of people we're talking to have been in the state legislatures, and some just business people. We had last time. We had folks like Ron Johnson and Mike Lee and Rand Paul who'd never run for public office, and now they're senators, and they're great senators.
There was a couple of votes that had some folks concerned. One was on 2011 spending, being short of what ultimately folks wanted to see in the way of cuts, but a move by leadership and others to say we got to get onto the big bucks. We got to get onto the 2012 spending in the next 10 years and the Ryan roadmap. Are there any particular votes in the House that are swaying you one way or another, or Michelle Bachmann's effort to defund Obamacare as an example to pull the $100 billion out of there? Any specific votes that you're looking to get a test of these candidates?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because there is. I think the key vote right now is, in votes are related to increasing the debt ceiling and how we handle that. There's going to be a national campaign, Scott, that begins next week, and I'd encourage all your listeners to go to a website that the address is cutcapbalancepledge.com, and we'll be trying to sign up. I'll say we, these dozens of outside groups are asking congressmen and senators to sign a pledge not to allow this debt ceiling to be increased unless you have immediate cuts, you have caps on spending over the long term that take us to a balanced budget, and we pass a balanced budget amendment. I probably won't be supporting any candidate who is not supportive and vocally supportive in a strong way for passing a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. Otherwise, we're going to continue our spending addiction in Washington, and we're going to bankrupt our country. So I'm making it my cause for the next 18 months, and really the 2012 election, in my opinion, is likely to be this August, and how Republicans deal with this debt ceiling.
And, if we don't use this leverage, forget about it. It's over, right? I mean, because there's an insatiable appetite to raise the debt limit. Geithner wants it. Obama wants it, everything else. So this is your moment now. We've been told by Senator Hatch and others there's an agreement that ultimately there would be a vote, I guess, on a balanced budget amendment. But is that enough, a vote, or does it have to pass in order for the increase to go in place, in your view?
It has to pass, and what I want to do is get a majority in the House and 41 senators to say that we will oppose a debt limit increase until we pass a balanced budget amendment. And folks say that can't be done, but if the president is starting to have to cut things, sooner or later he cannot defend a position that he's going to cut things that are important to people because he won't allow a balanced budget amendment. That makes no sense, Scott, because if we can't stop spending more than we're bringing in, common sense tells you we will bankrupt our country, and the only way to stop spending more than we're bringing in is to balance our budget.
Yeah, without question. A couple other quick things here. There was an ethanol vote today. I'm a little confused because Tom Coburn put one forward, day before yesterday. It did not pass. Today, if I understand correctly, Dianne Feinstein puts one through. It does pass. What's different about these?
It's the same amendment. I think what the Democrats realized is they got on the wrong side of that, and they wanted a redo on it. So the same amendment came back up again, and it passed. And I also have an amendment, which I'm not sure they're going to let me offer, but it would eliminate the mandates for ethanol. And that's really important, because if we take away the subsidy and keep the mandates, you're going to still have ethanol. It's just going to cost a lot more.
And does that July 1 that those the blender credit would go away, just like the Coburn vote?
Yeah, the Coburn vote, though, is this particular vote's probably not going to count. The underlying bill will not get past the House, but hopefully what it'll do is signal to the House Republicans that if they pass a bill that eliminates the ethanol subsidy and hopefully eliminates the mandate, that they can send it over to the Senate, and we've got enough votes to pass it.
Only have about 20 seconds left, but I see Mike Johans, John Thune, Chuck Grassley, and others have said that the pledge is dead now from Grover Norquist, because if you're voting against this is a tax hike. What about that?
No, it's not either. Most of us who voted for this eliminating the ethanol subsidy did it under the conditions that we could vote for an offset of that, which is in my amendment, and all of us will vote against the final bill if we don't get a chance to actually offset that with another amendment. So I don't think the pledge is dead. It's been an important firewall for a long time, and I think we all should continue to support it.
Senator Jim DeMint, good to catch up with you. Take care.
Thanks. All right, bye-bye. Thanks. All right, bye-bye.